For this video, we're going to look at commas in a list and the common errors that occur with this comma rule. So let's begin by looking at the rule. A simplified version of it would be use commas and a conjunction to separate three or more items in a list. So here in this sentence is a simplified version of the rule. We ate blueberries, comma, pancakes, comma, and eggs. We know this is correct because we have at least three items and we have our conjunction. So notice that the commas only go after these initial items. It does not go after the last item. So there's no comma right up there. So let's look at this sentence again with some of these marks removed. We ate blueberries, pancakes, and eggs. This is a correct version of the sentence, but I want to draw your attention to this last comma right here. This is known as the Oxford comma. Some people and some language associations will say that the Oxford comma is not necessary. For this purpose and for what you're being tested on, it is really important that you do continue to use the Oxford comma, and we'll talk about how it can make a difference in your sentences and the meaning of your sentences in just a moment. So let's look at a few example sentences. We ate pancakes and eggs for breakfast. We need to correct this sentence. So we see that there are only two items here. So we actually will not be needing that comma. So to correct it, all we need to do is take away that comma. It's good to go. Now this next sentence has no commas in it. Utah, Tennessee, and Washington are my favorite states to visit. We have three items, Utah, Tennessee, and Washington. So we'll put a comma after Utah, a comma after Tennessee, make sure we have our conjunction, and we are good to go. Again, we notice that we're using that Oxford comma right there. So this next sentence right here is an example of why the Oxford comma can be really important. If we didn't use it in the sentence, it would look like it does now. We went on a walk with our dogs, Grandma and Grandpa. Without the Oxford comma right here, it looks like the dogs' names are Grandma and Grandpa. But let's say that as the writer or from the surrounding context, I know that's not true. It's really important that we put that in there just so it doesn't sound like we named our dogs Grandma and Grandpa. So let's look at a little bit more complex sentence. Activities like singing in a band, speaking at a conference, and defending a thesis require confidence. So, singing in a band, that would be our first item. Speaking at a conference, that would be our second item. And defending a thesis, that would be our third item. So we'll put a comma after that one, a comma after that one, and make sure that there's a conjunction before our final item. So this is actually more often what the sentences are going to look like when it comes to items in a series. They're not always going to be those simple sentences like we saw up here. We ate blueberries, pancakes, and eggs for breakfast. And those are easier to correct. But sometimes you have the longer ones, and this helps remind us that when we're talking about the rule and we say items in a list or series, that can mean a longer phrase like singing in a band. So one more note that's important for us to talk about with commas in a list is that the structures must be parallel. So let's talk about what that means. Let's look at this sentence right here. I absolutely love to climb on sandstone rocks, hike in the Appalachian Mountains, and kayaking on the river. So if we look at what our list contains, that would be climb on sandstone rocks, hike in the Appalachian Mountains, kayaking on the river. We have 3 items here. We have our comma, conjunction. So on the comma side, it looks okay, but it's important with these lists to notice if the structure is the same. So I absolutely love to climb. That's correct. Hike. That's correct. But then kayaking does not sound like these other 2. Notice how the verb structure in kayaking is different than climb or hike. So the way that we would fix that is by just taking off that ing, taking away the gerund. I absolutely love to climb on sandstone rocks, hike in the Appalachian Mountains, and kayak on the river. Now they could all be gerunds and have the ing, but we just need to make sure that they all are matching up with each other. There's more notes and information to help you with parallel structure in the description of this video.